Hello and welcome to the new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at 10 sleeper picks for the Open Great League. Pokemon that we haven't really talked about yet on the channel. Pokemon I'm personally quite excited about, especially for the first week in order to play those. And yeah, Pokemon that I generally kind of want to give a little bit of a showcase here. Again, if you're in those type of videos, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe. But also, I would really appreciate some feedback on what you want to still see for the season down below. So yeah, feel free to do that. And let's take a look at 10 Pokemon that are going to be a bit better in their own kind of ways next season and are going to be a little bit interesting here. First up is going to be Incineroar. Incineroar, a Pokemon that honestly has an interesting typing and being fire and dark, a typing that never really saw any play with any kind of Pokemon so far as I am aware of. There are only a few Pokemon that have the typing, for example the Houndoom, which actually kind of had a tiny bit of play very early on in the GO Battle League meta. There was a team where you had like basically just fast move pressure with Fire Fang Houndoom, the Victory Bell, and I think like a Shadow Charmer, and literally just try to win the battle like that. But yeah, nowadays we're going to have Incineroar, a Pokemon that I suggested to get a buff. This Pokemon is very, very cool. It still maybe needs a new fast move or a buff to a fast move, but at the current time, this Pokemon is going to be best apparently with Snarl, which I don't agree with. I think the best move for this Pokemon is Fire Fang, giving it some solid fast move pressure that also allows you to farm down opponents, which you cannot do with Snarl. And then you're going to have Blast Burn, which you can also substitute with Blaze Kick if you want to, if you rather want to go for the safe route and not with a harder hitting damage move. But I think it's going to be best with Fire Fang on it. Double Kick is also an alternative option, by the way, which generates energy quite fast, but not as fast as Snarl then again, but has a little bit more fast move pressure. But still, I think Incineroar is a cool Pokemon, especially in the future. But yeah, again, I feel like actually that Snarl could get buffed now, because all the Pokemon that used Snarl before they were broken, which is basically mainly Mandibuzz, got nerfed this season. So I could see that this might be even the plan from No Scopely, who tried to maybe manipulate the meta to the point where Snarl could get buffed in the future, which could be an interesting one there. But generally, I still think that the Brutal Swing update on Incineroar is going to be a great one for it. I think that Fire Fang is going to allow it to have some potential in the current meta. Get hard-rolled by something like Como, but still I think it's a cool Pokemon, especially for limited cups. Dragonite is a Pokemon though that I kind of want to talk a little bit about as well, because I find it interesting. This Pokemon got, of course, a change with Dragon Claw as well as the Dragon Breath, but also got access to the move Thunder Punch, which is going to give it some cheap coverage. And so, apparently this is the best moveset for this Pokemon. Dragon Breath, Thunder Punch, as well as the Superpower. 240 energy moves, Superpower doing a lot more damage than the Thunder Punch, and Dragon Breath generating energy now faster, allowing it to get to your Superpower after just 10 fast moves, aka like 10 turns there as well, which is going to be quite fast. So, the main strategy that I think people are going to run with Dragonite is to use this Pokemon in the lead, try to then go ahead and go for a Superpower and just dip out. That's basically what you can do with this thing. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. On paper, this Pokemon is going to have a better battle ranking. This Pokemon is going to be just generally a little bit higher ranked on PvPoke. But if you're going to take a look at the meta itself, it seems like this Pokemon is actually a little bit worse next season. So I'm very much curious on where this Pokemon is going to land. Yeah, let me know down below what you think about this Pokemon here. I could see that, for example, the Goodra is going to have a little bit more play than this thing, because you have Orchid here as well. But nobody really talks about Goodra either. Goodra is like optional also with like Power Whip. Like, I'm not too sure if this is going to be something that we're going to see in the future. I don't know. We will see. But yeah, Dragonite got a huge meta climb, but I'm curious if this is actually true for it. But let's take a look at one of the Pokemon that got buffed the most, and honestly deserve a little bit more spotlight, because this Pokemon is going to be guaranteed very, very good next season. This is currently here the Dartrix. Dartrix still has like Seed Bomb here with 45 energy, which is going to drop. I hope it's 35 energy for the Seed Bomb, 35 energy and 55 damage. I think this is balanced, by the way. I'm really, really certain that it's going to be balanced. I did some calculation with 35 energy Seed Bomb before, and it looked like a really, really good upgrade for it. But this is now with 40 energy Seed Bomb and Peck being a Shadow Claw clone. This Pokemon gets up nearly 400 ranks, having an average rating over 500 and 14 year. But I actually could see that this Pokemon even not want to run Peck, because also Leafage got buffed, and I feel like it might be the cooler idea to have Leafage, Seed Bomb, and then Brave Bird as coverage move, which then allows you to do a little bit more grass type damage, which you're kind of lacking of with just a Seed Bomb alone. So I could see this Pokemon having a lot of play. This is mostly the replacement of Jumpluff for the next season, as Jumpluff is kind of, yeah, got hit a little bit with the aerial ace there. I think still Jumpluff is cool with the double nuke moveset. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, Dartrix, gonna be a very good Pokemon for the upcoming meta for sure. And I do think that like both movesets are kind of viable, so we have to see on who this Pokemon, like how this Pokemon is going to be played and which moveset is going to come on top there. Well, let's take a look at the Aurorus though. Aurorus is going to be a Pokemon actually that pairs really well with the Dartrix just now, as Dartrix is going to be able to resist all the moves kind of that you don't want to face here other than Steel, but there's not really Steel type damage in the current meta, other than like maybe Metal Sound from Empoleon. But yeah, other than Empoleon, this Pokemon here is going to be fantastic for the new meta. Getting buffed with Weather Ball is actually going to help this Pokemon out quite a bit, because you have like the Ice type damage with the Fast Move and the Weather Ball, which is now going to be a little bit more, which is kind of cool. And then you have this hard-hitting Nuke with Meteor Beam that also boosts your own attack. So even like if you kind of go for a Meteor Beam, your Weather Ball Ice is going to get amplified damage on top of the boost as well, which is going to be kind of an interesting strategy for this Pokemon. Do I think it's going to be super common? Not really, because there are some Pokemon just completely hardwired, like the Bastion, like the Carbink. There are going to be some matchups that are going to be just a little bit tricky for it. But I still think it's going to be an interesting Pokemon. I do think that it's going to be yeah, played once in a while there as well. I do think it's going to be a Pokemon that you're going to see like maybe at like a 2-3% usage in the Great League right now. Because I think it's still going to be very, very good. I think it's going to be very cool. It's good against the current meta. There are a lot of Dragon type Pokemon. You go against those. Even still good against D-Legs with this thing. So yeah, I think this Pokemon is going to be an interesting one and definitely one to watch for the next season. Jirachi is honestly the one Pokemon that I think I look forward to the most, because again, Jirachi, I think I had in a video before. I tried to kind of avoid Pokemon that I had already talked about, but I don't think I had it in since the move update been out. I'm not too sure. I think I don't have it in since then. But this Pokemon got buffed in 2 different ways. This Pokemon got buffed with Confusion generating more energy, which is fantastic by the way. It's very likely going to end up at like 14 energy generation, which means you're going to be able to get to the Doom Desire now in actually just 3 fast moves and 3 confusions, which is going to be great because Doom Desire is the best Steel type move by far in the current game, and got buffed recently as well, which is kind of cool. And this Pokemon got also access to Aura Sphere, which is now going to allow you to hit Pokemon like Empoleon for super effective damage, which before was kind of hard, or the Bastion. And so, bold prediction, I think that Jirachi is going to see play in the next regionals as well, as soon as the meta is going to shift. Because Jirachi also has like an interesting typing here that's going to be able to wall Pokemon like the Cradily, for example. Against Azumarill, you wall usually the charge moves set there as well. You're going to have super effective coverage against Pokemon like Kaumao. You're going to be able to resist Lapras fast move and hit that Pokemon with super effective damage as well with Aura Sphere. So in my opinion, in terms of sleeper pick, the Pokemon that actually sleeps for I think 1,000 years or something is kind of one of the best ones here. I think this Pokemon is a fantastic meta breaker, and I think this Pokemon actually has quite a lot of play in the current meta. A Pokemon that I also would build for the Ultra League because it's going to be very good there as well. I think I talked about it in the Ultra League, not so much in the Great League yet. But yeah, Jirachi is, funnily enough, a Pokemon that I think is going to have a ton of play for the upcoming meta. Like, you have basically a Pokemon there that completely destroys both Carbink as well as Bastion, as like the most bulky Pokemon, which is kind of cool. A Pokemon that pairs really, really well with the Bastion. If you haven't seen my top core video, it's going to be linked at the end card, or just look at the channel. Yeah, top course, Venusaur is added because Venusaur got buffed with Sludge over Sludge Bomb, which is kind of funny. Sludge being a 70 damage move. I think Sludge Bomb does 80 damage. Sludge Bomb is needing 10 more energy though, while the Sludge is just at 40 energy. And with that, this is actually a very solid upgrade for the Venusaur, which you see as well in the meta ranking. This Pokemon is going to have a lot of play in the upcoming season, and having Sludge is really, really cool for it, because now you're going to have a very nice pacing there. You're going to get to Frenzy Plant still basically after 6, and then 5 fast moves, but for Sludge, you're always going to need 5 fast moves, which is very, very nice. It's going to be the fastest move on it. And it's basically kind of similar to what we had with Superior last season, which is now going to be way worse with Aerial Ace getting nerfed. This has the same pacing here basically as Superior, but has actually a little bit of a better typing. Having the part Poison type is going to be really good against the Fairy type Pokemon in this meta. And so I'm curious. I think this Pokemon is going to be very cool. I do think it's going to struggle, of course, against Corviknight because it just completely gets hardwalled there. But if you can avoid Corviknight or maybe bait out the Corviknight, you're going to be in a very, very good spot here. Hypno is a Pokemon that I don't think is going to stay like this. Hypno is a Pokemon that got buffed with Confusion. Hypno is a Pokemon that got buffed recently with all the punches as well, doing a little bit more damage. And so this Pokemon has basically all the options in the world. You have Focus Blast if you want to have that for Bastiodon. You have access to Fire Punch, you have access to Ice Punch. And so I feel like there could be so many different kind of ways of playing this Pokemon. And honestly, the one moveset that I think is actually the coolest and the most like the best moveset on this Pokemon is actually Confusion, of course, Ice Punch, and the Focus Blast. I think this is kind of the coolest idea there for it, because what this allows you to do is you hit all the Dragon type Pokemon for super effective damage with Ice Punch. You are going to be able to hit Bastiodon for basically a one-shot with a Focus Blast. You're going to be able to hit the Steelix, you're going to be able to hit the Empoleon, you're going to be able to still do damage against most of the core meta as well. So I think this would be a cool moveset. Alternatively, you can also go for like something like Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. I think is going to be cool. I don't really see the play of Shadow Ball here, personally. I know it's like a very solid move and it's nice coverage on this Pokemon, but I don't think you really need it. I don't think it's going to help you with anything. So I really would recommend you to drop the Shadow Ball and go for any kind of coverage move. I think Ice Punch is really good. I think that though as well Focus Blast is going to have a lot of play though. So yeah, this is going to be a Pokemon that you can play in so many different ways, which also kind of forces shields from opponents. And with the new energy generation, you're going to be able to get faster to your punches, which is going to help this Pokemon so much. Aegislash is actually going to drop in the ranking here, which you're going to see now. But Aegislash is going to be a Pokemon that I think is going to be significantly better than like before in this next season. And you see it already in the rankings and what it can do and what it can't do. The thing is, I think this Pokemon is going to be fantastic because I don't think that Gyro Ball is going to get changed the way PvPoke has it. PvPoke has it from 60 energy to 55 energy. I assume it's going to go down to 50 energy. This will allow Aegislash to kind of have two charge moves out at the same time, which it wasn't allowed to do before. If this is going to happen again, we don't know it exactly, but I'm fairly certain it does. And I do think that Aegislash is going to be one of those Pokemon that people kind of sleep on currently, don't really think about it too much, because the rankings can't really show the potential of this Pokemon too much. And again, it's a very difficult Pokemon to get. The XL boost on this Pokemon is difficult to get, you have to trade for it. So yeah, Aegislash I still think is going to be one of the coolest Pokemon though to run for the upcoming season. And I do think it's a Pokemon that's mostly going to be worth looking into. But again, XL Candy is going to be a bit of a tough one to get. Maybe try to walk it as your buddy or something. But yeah, I do think it's going to be worth building this Pokemon. Eventually, it's going to be always worth building this Pokemon. There's no way that I see that they made such an effort basically in introducing this Pokemon in a special kind of way and then leaving it as like a Pokemon nobody uses. And this is exactly why I think that the Gyro Ball is going to be either 45 or 50 energy and not 55, because I do think that Scopely now wants to most likely push Aegislash into becoming meta, because yeah, again, it's a cool Pokemon, it's like a fan favorite, it's like a Pokemon that it's nice to watch basically, it's more creative, it has a little bit more play, it's kind of like the Morpeko, which need to be good as well, because it is like this kind of gimmicky Pokemon, and I think it's kind of something that we will see more moving forward in like Pokemon Go as well. I have already made a list as well that I didn't release yet, which I maybe make a video soon about as well, or like Pokemon that are going to have form changes coming up as well. So if you want to see it, again, let me know down below. I think that could be an interesting video, because I think this is going to be the future of Pokemon Go. I think there are a lot of Pokemon that they hold on to, like out for basically because of the way they could be played. I think they actually lost a lot of potential already with some of the Pokemon that already got released in a more easy, simple way. For example, like the Generation 4 Pokemon there, or like the Castform. Like Castform, for example, it could have maybe even had like some cool gimmick where it could change depending on kind of what type the opponent has or whatever. Something like this, I don't know. There would have been some different ways. But yeah, I guess that's here going to be a Pokemon that's definitely going to be meta eventually in the future. I rambled on quite long there, sorry for that, but I feel like it's something that I find quite interesting. Like I feel like there's like always the question on how to make Pokemon Go PvP more interesting. Of course, adding Show 6 Pick 3 into the main games, I don't think that they are not aware of that. I think that's something that they definitely want to do. But I feel like gameplay-wise, I think it's kind of cool that we have also now the 45-second switch timer, which is going to be also benefiting, for example, the Aegislash a little bit more, because they can swap out after you change your form a little bit faster. So that's something that's going to be very good for it as well. Anyway, again, we're rambling on for too long. We have Castform here. Castform is going to be a Pokemon that actually drops in ranking, but I think it's going to be very, very good next season, which you see as well in the wins and the losses. This Pokemon has access to Weather Ball Water, which is a move that is not really widely distributed, but the thing is, for Castform here, This Pokemon has one big benefit, and that's Water Gun. Water Gun plus Weather Ball Water. This is something that not really a lot of Pokemon have. I think no other Pokemon has. I know there's like Politoed, which has a bubble Weather Ball, which is kind of cool, but doesn't have the cool coverage of Thunder. But basically what this allows you is you have pressure now against Pokemon like Steelix, against Pokemon like Bastiodon, with your fast move already. And that's something that kind of is different towards this Pokemon compared to other ones, and you kind of need to have a cheap move like Weather Ball Water in order to be good. And the last time Weather Ball Water was at 60 damage, this Pokemon actually was completely dominating competitive play at one point, being a very good answer against like Pokemon like Azumarill, and honestly it was really a pain to deal with because of very solid bulk, very spammy moves, and you were able to just do so much fast move pressure with it. So I think this Pokemon is going to have a lot of play in the next season as well here. And the final one for today is going to be a Pokemon that honestly gonna be very cool. I'm currently playing a team with Magcargo, and I hope it's going to be my legend team. I'm still not legend. Honestly, without all the one-turn lag, I would have easily been legend already a few weeks ago. But yeah, Magcargo is going to be a Pokemon that already is very, very good, I have to say. With Incinerate, Rock Tomb, and Overheat is a very cool Pokemon. It's like a Pokemon that I just like to use generally. I think it's a cool Pokemon to run. But it's going to be better even with Ember next season, having better pacing and having better, like, a bit of a better ability to play the lead matchup out. Because what you're going to have now, you're going to have the immediate pressure with the Overheat. You're going to generate energy faster with like 9 energy per usage of the fast move compared to the 8 energy per usage of the like basically 4.5 energy per turn compared to 4 energy per turn with the Incinerate. Incinerate does more fast move pressure though, but I think that Magcargo is going to have a little bit more play that's not as clunky basically, which I think is kind of cool for it. So this little snail here is going to have a lot of play next season. This is going to be it for this video as well. Was a little bit longer than I expected. Hope you enjoyed it though. And if you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Again, let me know down below what you want to see in the future on this channel, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.